Truman, Kennedy, Reagan, Clinton, Bush, Obama, Trump, Biden, and now Trump again. 14 presidents, different parties, different personalities, and different ideas about how to run America. But on one thing, they almost never disagreed: Israel. Ever since Israel became a country in 1948, every single U.S. president has supported it, through multiple wars, through arguments, and through billions and billions of dollars sent as military help. Some presidents argued with Israeli leaders, some pushed back, but not one of them ever walked away from the relationship. So here is the big question: why every single president of the United States bow to Israel? Why they can't say America first? Is it about beliefs? Is it about religion? Or is it about money? The honest answer is all of those things together. And when you understand how, you start to see how power really works in America and how presidents are elected in America. To understand this story, you have to go back to May 14, 1948. Britain was leaving Palestine. Jewish leaders were about to announce the new state of Israel, and inside the White House, people were fighting over what America should do. President Truman's own Secretary of State, a very powerful general named George Marshall, told Truman directly that if you support Israel, he would vote against the president in the next election, the Washington Institute. Other advisors warned that backing Israel would damage America's friendships with Arab countries. Truman said no to all of them and yes to Israel. Just 11 minutes after Israel declared itself a country, the United States became the first nation in the world to recognize it. So why did Truman do it? Was he afraid of something? A few reasons came together at the same time. Truman grew up with strong Christian beliefs and felt connected to the idea of a Jewish homeland. He had also seen the terrible things that happened to Jewish people during the Holocaust. Some historians claim millions of Jewishes were killed, and he felt it was only right to give them a safe place to live. But some people also pointed out something more practical. A number of people argued that Truman supported Israel partly because he needed Jewish voters on his side in the 1946 and 1948 elections. Then after Truman, the friendship between America and Israel grew stronger, but for a very different reason. It was no longer just about belief. It was about survival on the world stage. At that time, two giant powers were competing for control of the world: America and the Soviet Union. Every country and every piece of land mattered, and the Middle East, with its oil, its sea routes, and its hundreds of millions of people, was one of the most important places on Earth. Israel turned out to be a very useful partner for America. When Israel beat Egypt, Syria, and Jordan all at once in the 1967 Six-Day War, American military leaders sat up and paid close attention. After that war, the U.S. made a clear decision to help Israel stay militarily stronger than any of its neighbors, and to stop Arab nations from attacking it. Israel also gave America something money could not easily buy: a secret weapon. When Israeli agents quietly got their hands on a Soviet fighter jet, they shared it with American military experts. That gave the U.S. a rare look inside Soviet military technology. As one expert explained it, if you look at American history in the 20th and 21st centuries, America's enemies and Israel's enemies were the same, whether it was Nazism, communism, or Islamist extremism. When two countries share the same enemies, they naturally stick together. Now, here is the part of the story that most people don't fully know, and it matters a lot. Alongside belief and strategy, there is a third force pushing American presidents toward Israel: very well-organized political groups that spend large amounts of money to shape who gets elected. The most well-known of these groups is called AIPAC, the American Israel Public Affairs Committee. Back in 1997, Fortune magazine ranked AIPAC as the second most powerful lobbying group in all of Washington. It is not a small group. AIPAC says it has more than 6 million members across the United States, with supporters in every single area that elects a member of Congress. AIPAC pushes hard for America to send financial help to Israel and has helped secure up to $3 billion in aid every single year, making Israel the biggest receiver of U.S. foreign money since World War II. And the amounts keep growing every single year. In 1999, the U.S. promised Israel at least $26.7 billion for over 10 years. That went up to $30 billion in 2009, and then $38 billion in 2019. That's a lot of U.S. taxpayer money. But the real power of AIPAC is not just asking for money. It is about deciding who sits in Congress in the first place. After 6 decades of focusing only on pushing for certain policies, AIPAC for the first time started spending money directly on election campaigns before the 2022 midterm elections, and the results were hard to ignore. Within just 2 years of putting money into campaigns, AIPAC had grown into one of the biggest outside spenders in congressional elections in the whole country. The Intercept. During the 2023 to 2024 election period alone, AIPAC-connected groups spent more than $45 million, either helping pro-Israel candidates win or making sure pro-Palestinian candidates lost. In the 2024 elections, 96% of the candidates AIPAC supported ended up winning. A former AIPAC director once said that it is almost politically suicidal for a member of Congress who wants to keep their seat to take any position that looks like it goes against Israel's government. That's how insane AIPAC is. This is not a secret plot. This is all legal, all publicly recorded. But it creates a very clear situation for every president. The Congress they have to work with every single day is almost entirely on Israel's side. Any president who wants to get things done has to understand that reality.
Also, there is one more group that does not get talked about enough: American Christians, especially those with strong evangelical beliefs. The largest pro-Israel group in America is not actually AIPAC. It is Christians United for Israel, which has over 7 million members. For many of these Christians, supporting Israel is not just a political opinion. It comes from a deep reading of the Bible. Many believe that what happens to Israel is connected to the return of Jesus Christ. So supporting Israel feels to them like following God's plan. For Republican presidents especially, who need these voters to win elections, this is not a small thing. It is a huge part of their political base. When Donald Trump moved the American embassy to Jerusalem in 2018, the loudest cheering did not come from Jewish communities. It came from evangelical Christian churches across the American South and Midwest. To be fair, not every president has agreed with Israel on everything. Eisenhower actually told Israel to pull its soldiers out of Egyptian land after a war in 1956. Kennedy quietly pressured Israel about its nuclear program. George H.W. Bush tried to make sure American money was not being used to build settlements in the West Bank, and Obama had a cold and difficult relationship with Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu. But despite of all of these conflicts, they kept the core friendship going. The military aid never stopped, and the protection at the United Nations continued. When Donald Trump came to power in 2017, he went further than any president before him. He moved the U.S. Embassy to Jerusalem, the capital of Palestine. He helped Israel make peace deals with several Arab countries. He walked away from the Iran nuclear deal that Obama had worked years to build. When Trump came back to office in 2025, he went even further, openly talking about America taking a role in reshaping Gaza and the wider region. His critics say he is putting Israeli political interests ahead of America's own. His supporters say he is simply being more open and honest than the presidents who came before him. But the pattern is the same. 14 presidents and one relationship that never breaks. So, do U.S. presidents simply do whatever Israel wants? That is too simple a way to say it. The more honest picture is the U.S.-Israel relationship is kept alive by several things working together. A genuine sense of moral duty shaped by the Holocaust. A cold and calculated decision to have a strong friend around oil-rich countries. The religious beliefs of tens of millions of American Christians, and one of the most effective political money machines in American history. Presidents are not taking orders from Jerusalem, but they are working inside a political system where standing with Israel brings big rewards, and pulling away brings very real dangers. The growing gap between what ordinary Americans feel and what Congress actually does is not a reflection of what people truly want. It reflects the power a well-funded lobbying group has over who gets elected in the first place. Whether you see this as a friendship built on shared values, what do you think? Is this a friendship based on values, or is it all about politics and money? Tell us in the comments. And if you want more honest, no-nonsense breakdowns of how the world really works, hit subscribe and like this video.